and welcome back to the Convict Diaries. My name is Denise, and today we're going to talk about Frederick Ward, also known as Captain Thunderbolt or the Gentleman Bushranger. Ward holds a unique place in Australian history. He was born in about 1835 in Windsor, New South Wales. His life was one of dramatic twists and turns, eventually leading him to become one of Australia's most notorious yet intriguing bushrangers. Frederick Ward was the youngest of perhaps 10 children born to convict Michael, also known as Hanley Ward, who was transported on the Indefatigable in 1815, and his wife Sophia. So to get a brief idea about his family, let's have a look at some of the details. His father, Michael Ward, was, on the 14th of February 1814, a servant to John and William Nicholson distillers in Woodbridge Street, Clerkenwell, London. He, along with an accomplice, Thomas Dodman, were caught with stolen liquor. On the 20th of April 1814, he was tried at the Old Bailey, found guilty and sentenced to death, although his sentence was later commuted to life transportation. In late 1814, he sailed from England on the convict ship, which reached Sydney on the 26th of April 1815. And on the 29th of April 1815, Ward was discharged and forwarded to Windsor for distribution. A little bit about Dodman, who also arrived on the same boat as Ward. He was 37. Like Ward, he sent for his family to join him. However, Mrs. Dodman died of apoplexy and was buried at Rio de Janeiro. The surgeon described her as a healthy, good-looking woman whose husband had been transported previously and had sent for her to join him. Their 2-year-old son, William Dodman, died at sea after leaving Rio, and the last of the family on board, daughter Sarah, died on the 9th of April 1815. He remarried in 1818 to Cyril Sandal, and again in 1824 to Cyril Wood. In 1835, Thomas died at the age of 58. So now let's get back to Fred's family. On the 4th of April 1859, Michael Ward, listed as Hanley Thompson Ward, passed away in West Maitland. He was a dealer by profession. 2 days later, on the 6th of April 1859, he was buried at the Church of England burial ground in West Maitland. Interestingly, his funeral notice listed his name as Wardley Thompson Ward, which is likely an error. Michael Ward's death certificate indicated that he and Sophia were married around 1813. However, Sophia had a daughter named Sophia, born around 1808, suggesting that there's a possibility that she had an earlier relationship. It raises intriguing questions about Sophia's past and the complexities of the family history. On the 8th of June 1815, Sophia Jane and Elizabeth Ward arrived free on the convict transport Northampton with her daughter Sophia Jane, who had been born, as I said before, in 1808. In July 1815, she petitioned for her husband to receive a ticket of leave so he could support her and her daughter, and it was granted. Sophia Jane Elizabeth Ann Ward, Michael's wife, died on the 9th of August 1874 at Campbell's Hill, West Maitland. She was buried the following day at the Church of England burial ground near West Maitland. Her death certificate suggests that she had 12 children, although references have only been found to 11. This discrepancy could be due to an error on the death certificate, or it's possible an additional daughter was born in England and died in infancy. The lack of records for this potential 12th child adds another layer of mystery to the family's history. Their family moved from Wilberforce to nearby Windsor around the time of Fred's birth in 1835. Ward started working at an early age and was employed at 11 by the owners of the Aberbaldy station near Walker as a general hand, although he didn't stay there very long. And over the next decade, he worked at various stations in northern New South Wales, including the renowned horse stud Topol, where his horsemanship skills, particularly buck-breaking, became evident. In 1856, Ward's older nephew, John Garbutt, the son of his sister Sarah Ann Garbutt nee Ward, led a significant horse and cattle stealing operation involving other family members. Fred Ward assisted in driving the stolen horses from his older brother William's Lambs Valley property to Windsor, where they were sold at auction. Ward and his nephews John and James Garbutt were convicted, John and James for horse stealing and Ward for receiving stolen horses. They were each sentenced to 10 years of hard labour at the Cockatoo Island penal establishment. But do you want to know what happened to John Garbutt? He was tried at the Sydney Supreme Court in 1856, a few months before Fred's trial, for being the ringleader. So he served his time, and when he got out, he married a wealthy woman by the name of Elizabeth Blackman nee Aldridge on the 27th of December 1860. Garbutt suffered a concussion when he was thrown from his horse, and at his trial in March 1863, two doctors testified that there had been a change in Garbutt's demeanour since the accident. They agreed that he could still distinguish what was right from what was wrong. He spent time over the years in and out of jail and the Parramatta Psychiatric Institution. In a tragic turn of events, Garbutt murdered Thomas Conroy at Taroom by killing him with an axe while he was asleep and then burning his body. He was apprehended by the police on the 19th of October, and from the 2nd to the 5th of February 1874, Garbutt was tried and convicted. On the 10th of March 1874, he was executed at Brisbane Jail. His wife Elizabeth tried to assist him by forwarding details of his mental illness to the Brisbane authorities, but her efforts were in vain. And then there was James, his brother, who married Mary Hughes, formerly Osborne, at West Maitland. He also spent his life in and out of prison. Some of the things he faced jail for included imprisoned by Lithgow bench for vagrancy. He was tried by Mudgee police officers for exposing himself and sentenced to 1 month hard labour. The Mail and Mercury ran a story offering a reward to anyone knowing the whereabouts of James and his children, Alice and Minnie. In 1881, James was again tried for exposing himself. In 1882, he was tried for indecent assault against Mary Donnelly and sentenced to 18 months. He was tried later on with indecent assault with attempting to have carnal knowledge. He died on the 15th of July 1906 at Mudgee. Reportedly, he was aged 76 or 77 and was buried on the 16th of July 1906 at the Church of England Cemetery in Mudgee. Back to Ward. So, after serving 4 years, Ward was released on a tick of leave and settled in the Mudgee district. John had married his wealthy widow, so he employed Fred at Coya. There, Fred met Mary Ann Bugg. Mary Ann Bugg was a Warramie woman, often referred to as a bushranger. She was born on the 7th of May 1834 at the Australian Agricultural Company's Berrico outstation. She was the eldest child of signed convict James Bugg and his Aboriginal partner Charlotte. Following her birth, her parents had 7 more children, and they eventually married in 1848. On the 1st of June 1848, just days after her 14th birthday, Mary Ann Bugg married ex-convict Edmund or Edward Baker, and they likely had a daughter named Helena around 1849. In July 51, Mary Ann and her new partner, shepherd John Burrows, had a son named James, born on the Turon River. By February of 54, their second son, John, was baptised. Burrows was shepherding at Louis Station near Mudgee. The couple separated. By mid-1855, Mary Ann was living with ex-convict James McNally. They had a daughter, Mary Jane, born early in 1856, a son, Patrick William, born late in 1857, and another daughter, Ellen, born in March 1860. McNally was recorded as a farmer at Coyle later that year and continued to live in the Mudgee district until his death in 1875. Early in 1861, Mary Ann became pregnant with Fred's child. Despite the fact that it was a violation of his ticket of leave regulations, Ward decided to take Mary Ann to her father's farm at Montcoroy near Dungog for the baby's birth. Marina Emily Ward was born October 1861. He returned late for his 3-monthly muster, leading to the revocation of his ticket of leave. Ward further complicated matters by arriving in Mudgee on a stolen horse, although the horse's owner admitted at Ward's trial that it had merely gone missing and had been seen near Coyle. Ward was sent back to Cockatoo Island to serve the remaining 6 years of his original sentence, plus an additional 3 years possessing a stolen horse. On the 11th of September 1863, Frederick Ward and his companion, male robber Frederick Britton, managed to slip away from their work gang on Cockatoo Island and was absent at evening muster. On the morning of the 14th of September, some of their clothes and Britton's irons were found by the water's edge on the island's northern shoreline. It has often been suggested that Mary Ann Bugg helped Ward escape. However, it is argued that it's not true, as she remained in Dungog throughout Ward's second term on Cockatoo Island and only saw him after his escape. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Captain Thunderbolt earned a reputation as a gentleman. His criminal activities, which included robbing mail coaches, inns and travels, were often carried out with a certain flair, reputed code of conduct that minimised violence. His ability to evade capture earned him considerable notoriety and the admiration of some sections of the public, who saw him as a symbol of rebellion against authority. Ward and Britton made their way to the New England district where they robbed a shepherd's hut at Gostwick, near Uralla, on the 24th of October. 3 days later, troopers spotted them near the Big Rock or Split Rock, now known as Captain Thunderbolt's Rock, while they were waiting to ambush the men. There was a gunfight. Ward was shot in the back of his left knee, leaving a critical identifying mark that later would lead to help to identify his body after his death. The pair separated a few weeks later. So how did Ward earn the nickname Thunderbolt? Well, it was during the Rutherford toll bar robbery on the 21st of December. The toll bar keeper told the police that the door burst open like the sound of a thunderbolt. This was reported in the Maitland Mercury, and the name just stuck. Although at the time nobody knew the identity of the man holding up the inn. Fred picked up Mary Ann and they headed for the lawless northwestern plains, where they remained quietly camped until early in 1965. In March 1865, the police found stolen goods in Mary's camp and apprehended her. She pretended she was in labour, and that forced the police to leave her at the Wilby station. Fred and his gang turned up later to rescue her in early April. They took her to the Tamworth district, where Fred engaged another but Aboriginal woman to assist with her delivery. The gang then returned to bushranging, and his daughter Eliza was born in mid-1865. In March 1866, the police encountered the Wards again at their Pignabani camp in the Barrington Top. Marianne was taken into custody for vagrancy. After her conviction, a parliamentary outcry led to the Attorney-General recommending that she be released, on the grounds that the charge was not properly prepared. For the next 6.5 years, Ward carried out numerous robberies targeting mailmen, travellers, inns, stores, and stations throughout northern New South Wales. His activities ranged from the Hunter Valley up to Queensland, from Tamworth almost as far west as Booth. Early in 1865, he was joined by 3 other men on a crime spree across the Northwest Plains. This period marked a significant escalation in his bushranging. As the gang targeted various locations and travellers, spreading fear and chaos throughout the region. The criminal activities included robbing mail coaches, holding up travellers, and raiding homesteads and inns. Their spree came to an abrupt end when young John Thompson, one of Ward's accomplices, was shot and captured at merely near Moray. This event led to the disbanding of the group. The loss of poor Thompson and the increased pressure from law enforcement made it untenable for them to continue their activities together. Despite this disbanding, Ward's reputation as a notorious bushranger continued to grow. His ability to evade capture and his daring exploits kept him in the public eye, and he remained a significant figure in the annals of Australian bushranging history. Later that same year, he teamed up with 2 other felons, but this second gang disbanded soon after one of them, Jimmy the Whisperer, shot a policeman. There is no evidence that Fred Ward ever shot at anyone during his bushranging career. He was known to show his guns rather than brandish or discharge them, relying instead on superior horseflesh to make good his getaway. He is credited with having stolen or commandeered over 40 thoroughbred racehorses during his time on the road. Thereafter, Ward employed only young, malleable accomplices, Thomas Mason in 1867 and William Monckton in 1868. After Monckton left him, Ward remained largely in seclusion, surfacing only a handful of times in the next 18 months to commit robberies. Captain Thunderbolt also had a notorious run-in with the law when he engaged in a daring escape from the hands of the police in 1867, an event that further solidified his legendary status. Alone with a reward of about £200 on his head, Ward held up a mailman on the 3rd of February 1867 and was almost captured. He was drunk, and this happened in Manila. Early in 1867, Marianne was apprehended again by the police for being in possession of stolen goods. Although she claimed to have purchased them, she was unable to produce receipts and was again sent to jail. She was released from jail because a shopman confirmed her purchases. Marianne became pregnant again late in 1867, and their son, Frederick Ward Jr., was born in August 1868. By that time, Ward's relationship with Marianne Buggett ended, so he was likely unaware that she had given birth to his namesake. Frederick Wordsworth Ward Jr. took the surname of his stepfather, but followed in his birth father's footsteps by becoming a groom and later a horse trainer. He remained unmarried and died in 1937. In 1869, Marianne Buggett reunited with John Burrows, and they settled together in the Mudgee district, where they spent the remainder of their lives. The couple welcomed the last of Marianne's 15 children during the 1870s. Their life together in Mudgee was marked by the challenges and joys of raising such a large family. As the years passed, Marianne faced the hardships of life with resilience. After the death, or presumed death, of John Burroughs, she took on the role of a nurse to support herself. Her dedication to her work and her family remained steadfast until the end of her life. Mary Ann Bugg passed away on the 22nd of April in 1905 at her home in Gladstone Street, Mudgee. The cause of her death was listed as senile decay, a testament to the long and eventful life she had led. Her legacy lived on through her many children and the stories of her remarkable life as the companion of the infamous bushranger, Frederick Ward. Captain Thunderbolt's luck eventually ran out on the 25th of May, 1870. After allegedly robbing travellers near the Big Rock, Frederick Ward was shot and killed by Constable Alexander Binney Walker at Kentucky Creek near Uralla. His capture followed a difficult pursuit through rough terrain. Ward spent his last hours at the Royal Oak Inn near Split Rock, where his judgment was likely impaired by alcohol. Publican John Blanche served his last drinks at gunpoint, and Ward, ignoring warnings to flee. Ward had been described as being 5'8" and a quarter inches tall, slight of build and of sallow complexion, with hazel grey eyes and light brown curly hair. His body was identified by the gunshot wound on the back of his left knee, as well as by his white hair and eye colour, and other distinguishing features. 3 witnesses, including his former accomplice, William Manton, confirmed his identity. Hundreds of people came to see the body. The local community got together and raised a large sum in appreciation for Constable Walker, who was awarded a silver medal for bravery. Over the years, there's been speculation that it was not Ward that died at Kentucky Creek, but some other man. March 2010, the New South Wales Legislative Council demanded the release of archival records related to his death. But these alternative theories are generally considered lacking in credibility. His death marks the end of the era of bushrangering in Australia. However, marked part of an era of bushrangering in Australia. However, his legacy lives on. He's immortalised in folklore and popular culture as the noble outlaw. His story, though rooted in criminality, is a testament to the complexities of human character, the allure of defiance. His life as Captain Thunderbolt captures the essence of a time when the Australian frontier was both a land of opportunity and a stage for rebellion. The legend of Captain Thunderbolt is commemorated at McCrossen's Mill Museum in Uralla, which features a series of 9 paintings by Philip Tomroy depicting the events leading towards death. These paintings provide a vivid portrayal of the final moments of the infamous bushranger, capturing the drama and intensity of the last stand. Thunderbolt's Way is a scenic road that stretches from Gloucester to Inverell, tracing much of his original route between the Hunter Valley and the northwest slopes of plains. The road allows travellers to follow in the footsteps of the notorious outlaw, experiencing the landscape that was once his domain. Additionally, the 4-wheel drive trail known as Thunderbolt Trail, that is located in the Barrington Top State Forest, follows part of that original path. This trail offers a rugged and adventurous journey and provides a glimpse into the challenging terrain that Thunderbolt navigated during his bush ranging days. A bullet hole in the wall of the Moonan Flat Pub, made by the bushranger during a hold-up, was once on display near Scone. This bullet hole served as a tangible reminder of his daring exploits and the violent encounters that marked his career. However, it has since been painted over, erasing a piece of the physical history associated with the legendary outlaw. These commemorations and landmarks ensure that the story of Captain Thunderbolt remains alive and allows people to connect with the history and the legacy of one of Australia's most famous bushrangers. And so I hope you appreciated his story. I included Mary Ann Buck in with it because I thought that she formed quite a serious part of his story, and hers. She was accused of being a bushranger, yet I think what she really was the wife of a bushranger. As I said, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll get together again soon when we look at another bushranger in Australia. Okay, bye.